You ever find yourself starting a project only to have it all just fly out the window when you really get to the heart of it? Don't go away. Hello everybody and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. So I wanted to get into a diecast restoration. I just finished up with IPMS convention here in Las Vegas, and it's been a while since I've been able to really do a diecast car, and so I really felt like just getting back into it and doing something simple and fun. So I pulled out a Hot Wheels Mustang Stocker. Well, my intention was to go for a straight restoration, but I just couldn't do it. So as I mentioned, I've been really busy the last few weeks getting ready for IPMS. I had models to finish and pack, I had forms to fill out, and then I actually had the event itself, so I really haven't been doing much. So now that IPMS has passed, I really wanted to get back into something fun and easy and something that I would just really enjoy doing, so I opted to do just a straight Hot Wheels restoration. My victim today, this Hot Wheels Mustang Stocker. Like I do in every build, I'll start by taking this car apart, and rather than elaborate on that process that you've heard 1,000 times, I'm going to talk more about Vix Bits and shielded drilling. Now, I use a 3, a 5, and a 9 Vix Bit, and I get a set of them, and you can find them on my Amazon store and the links down below. I make it easy for you to find these things. And if you're not using these, you are missing out on one of the best things in diecast. These Vix Bits, they're made for woodworking and center drilling for hinges and things. Well, what I've found is that the way these work, you can use them and they will bite into the little cup that surrounds the rivets and keep it from wandering and skating and give you a nice center drill in the end of the rivet. They're also amazing at prepping the end of the post. Usually the 9, it's the bigger one, and it fits down over the post and it holds itself in place, and you can use it and just drill it out. It cleans off the edges and cups the end of the post to prepare it to drill it out for a screw. Oh, can you see this? Oh, nightmare of all nightmares. Oh. No vampire egg. A vampire. Oh my God. Oh, I should just burn this whole thing. I have to assume that thing is dead. If it were to move right now, I would absolutely crap into my pants. Oh. It's gonna be that kind of day, huh? This is probably like vampire poo. Oh. I gotta start wearing gloves or something. Like vampire-proof gloves. This is horrible. Oh my Lord. Just shoot me now. Seriously, just be done with it. Shoot me. There's nothing good that can come from this. Okay, this is taken a really bad turn for the worse. Okay. I gotta get the vampire out of there. Ugh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, that was so bad. So how horrible was the vampire? I mean, seriously. I actually thought about just throwing the whole damn car in the garbage, because that was awful. And I swear, like I said, if that thing had moved, I would have passed right out. Oh, God, it was so bad. Anyhow, I'm going to finish up getting these posts drilled out. Little oil, drill the post, tap it, and then I'll put a screw in it. We can move on. Alright, it's time for everybody's favorite part, the warm liquid goo phase. We'll take this little casting, we'll plop it into the goo, and let the goo do its work while we do other things. Okay, so these later castings, they really suck, and this is exactly why. So, the wheels are terrible. They have to be replaced. But these wheels are permanently attached to the axles, which are press fit into the base, and there's no real good way to replace these, okay? It's not like the cap wheels where I can take off the fronts or whatever. I need to get the entire thing out of the body, and worse still, there's no good readily available replacement parts for this right here, okay? You've got to kind of work something out on your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little screwdriver and I'm going to try and pry open the press fit area that holds the axle in place. I'm just going to try and pry it open enough that I can pop these axles out of the car. And, you know, I'm not going to throw them away. I don't know why. Maybe it's the inner hoarder in me, but I'm going to hang on to them. And my plan is to use some aftermarket replacement axles. Now, these are just straight axles. They have little bearings on the end, and then I can use traditional wheels here, but really don't like those. So, listen, I'm going to explain why I don't like them. But before we get into all of that, let's just get this base cleaned up, because without the axles and the wheels, it's going to be a lot easier to manage. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the mix of lime away and water, and I'm going to let it sit for about 3 minutes. And then when we're done, we'll take it out and wash it off. So I told you I'd say why I don't like these replacement axles. And of course, they're more difficult to work with than, say, hub axles or spring axles. But here's the big thing. They're always very, very sloppy. The hubs never fit on the axles very well, and I just hate them. Really, really hate them. Okay, so I'm done with the lime away. I've given the car a rinse, gotten all the lime away off of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a brass bristle brush, and I'm just going to kind of give it an initial shine by brushing it down with this brush. Good is always good, but great is always better, and the base looks good after the wire brush. but I know I can get it to be great by using some Flitz. So I'm going to take a little bit of Flitz, I'm going to rub it into the base, and then I'm going to get out my little buffing wheels on my rotary tool, and I'm going to buff this base out to a nice high shine. Even though I hate them, sometimes there's just no other option. Okay, so I've got this thing looking pretty good. I'm just going to polish it out a little bit with a paper towel. Then when I'm done with that, I'm going to switch to a nice soft microcloth. What is it? Microcloth? Microfiber, I think it's called. Microfiber? Somebody put in the comments what this thing is really called. But anyhow, I'm going to shine this little devil up, and it's looking fantastic. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I give you wonderful tips in every video that I do. I gave you the tip about the Vix Bits, and now I'm going to repeat this tip that I've been harping on lately. Renaissance wax. This stuff is fantastic, and after I have this base all shiny, rather than trying to put some kind of a clear coat on it, all I have to do is take this Renaissance wax, put a little bit on my finger, buff it in, get it all over the place, polish it off, and I'm protected. This should keep the tarnish away and keep my base looking nice for years to come. So just like the Vix Bits, you can get Renaissance wax by using one of my links in the description below, or you can visit my Amazon store by going to www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis. I have links to everything there. It's broken down into categories of the different kinds of projects I do. So there's a model building group, and diecast group, and coin ring group, and general hobby group. So all the stuff there is stuff that I personally use. I wouldn't direct you towards any of that stuff if I didn't use it. I use it. I love it. So as you saw while I was blabbering, I pulled the body out of the warm liquid goo. It looks great. Run it to the sink, give it a good wash, and then we'll dry it off and hit it up with the brass bristle brush. Now, there's quite a bit of tarnish in here, but generally speaking, the body isn't all dinged up. There are a few areas, like on the front edge of the hood line, where it's a little rough, and I'll file that down a little bit. But generally speaking, all I really need to do is get this clean and smooth, because I'm going to use an opaque paint on this casting. Now look, I told you that my intention was to come in and just do a simple restoration. Well, that's not going to fly here. I got to be honest. I just, I don't understand Mattel and her designers. These guys have no sense of artistic value in terms of cars. This is a yellow car with pink and orange stripes. I'm sorry, that does not work. Okay, it just doesn't. It's super ugly, and I just have decided I refuse to restore this car. So what I did is I got on the internet and I looked around, and I actually spotted a Mustang Stocker. I don't know if it came this way or if this was a custom or something, but I saw one in red, white, and blue, and it was beautiful. And I was like, I'm doing that. So that's what we're going to do today. So after I got the body all smoothed out the way I wanted it to be, I went ahead and put some Tamiya Fine Primer on it, and now I'm laying down some Tamiya X2 Gloss White paint. This thing is going to look beautiful. It's funny about white that, you don't think of it as a hot rod color, but I restored a real car. It was a 1970 Buick Skylark convertible. And when I was trying to finalize what color I wanted to paint it, I actually took it into Photoshop, and I kept trying new colors on it. And just to fill out a page, I made one white totally didn't think I would even consider it, but when I got down and printed it and was looking at the colors, I could not stop looking at it in white. So yeah, hey, actually white works really great on a hot rod. And funny story about the Skylark, when I sold it, guess who bought it? Ben Affleck, the actor. That's right, he bought my Buick Skylark. Cool, huh? So the paint has to dry, so I'm going to turn my attention to the windshield. Now, the glass was intact, and I was surprised after I got it cleaned up. I wasn't sure how well it was going to do. The back is actually in really great shape, so all I need to do is a little bit of light sanding to the front windshield, and then I'll take it to Gauzy. So I'm using a 1000 grit sanding sponge to sand the windshield, and when I do that, what I'm looking for is after, I wet sand it, so it's all wet and it's hard to tell. What you have to do is you dry it off real quick, just with a little piece of paper towel or something, and you're looking for everything to be uniformly flat. If you see a glossy spot, that's a low spot that you didn't get sanded. Now, you may not be able to get to that, and that's fine, but just remember that that's what you're looking for, is a uniform, flat, smooth finish on your windshield. Then we can turn to Gauzy and polish it back out. So, once I've got the windshield sanded, polished, I open up my Gauzy, and I'm going to give it a dip, and as always, I'll wick away the extra, and put it in my onion saver, shove it to the side, and let it dry. So, as I said, I'm not going to use the yellow and pink and orange. I'm doing the white, red, and blue. And I'm going to make my decals in my laser printer. But here's the cool thing. You don't have to have a laser printer and the ability to print white to make this work out, because we're going to be putting these decals on a white car. If you have an inkjet printer, all you need is a little packet of inkjet printer decal paper. You can print out the red and blue decals, and when they lay down, they're going to pop. So anybody that has an inkjet printer can actually make this car look this way. Now also, in addition to not using the original colors, I'm going to alter the decals a little bit. I really love the look of that center stripe. I think it was really cool the way it comes up onto the hood. I love that. But I didn't like the side stripes, the way they kind of wrapped around at the front of the hood and connected there. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make mine run straight off the end of the hood, and that's what I'm going to go with. So red, white, and blue, here we come. Okay, so we're putting on the decals, and these can be a little bit tricky, okay? You gotta really be careful with your alignment, because trust me, if they're a little bit crooked or a little off to one side or the other, it's gonna stand out like a turd in a punch bowl. Nobody wants a turd in their punch bowl. So, you put the decals down and just kind of use the back of the car or the front of the car and sight right along it. And just trust your eyes. Your eyes will tell you if it's right or not. And it can be a little bit fiddly, but it'll be worth the effort in the end. This is one of those areas where there is no cheating allowed, okay? After decals, if you're going to clear coat this, which of course you know I'm going to do that, if you're going to clear coat, you got to make sure the decals are 100% thoroughly dry. So I left this for over 24 hours. Now I can go back and put some clear coat on it. So I'm going to throw some clear coat on, but let me tell you a little story first. You heard me tell you that my paint booth had died, right? Okay? At least I think you heard it. I mean, I posted it on my my community tab. So, you know, if you're not reading my posts on the community tab, I would say, why the hell not? Read my posts on the community tab, or we can't be friends. I'm sorry. That's just all there is to it. Okay, anyhow, enough of that. But, so anyhow, my paint booth had died, and I called the company, and they, when I described what had happened, they said, it sounds like your power brick just died. And that's about the time I remembered that when I got my new paint booth, the one that I just died, the old one, I never changed out the power brick. I just used the old one, plugged it into the new booth, and went that way. So I said, hey, that means somewhere in this house I have a brand new power brick laying around. So I searched around, I found it, dug it out, connected it, and boom, my paint booth came back to life. So I'm really happy about that. And so here we are at the freshly revived paint booth to lay down clear coat. Now, you know I'm using my urethane clear coat from Bright Vision. I love this stuff. I'm going to put it on the same way I always do. A couple mist coats, and then some medium coats, and then some wet coats. And man, oh man, oh man, this white and these decals and everything is just exploding. It is so stinking beautiful. Okay, so with the car thoroughly dry, I can go ahead and do some final things. I'm going to do some black detail painting on the front and the back, and then I'm going to put in some tail lights, and then I can go ahead and put this little devil together. All right, it's the moment of glory. I have the body. I'll drop in the windshield, then the interior, and then the base. Screw this sucker together, and boom, done. Loving it. All right, here is a very red, white, and blue Mustang Stocker. I love every bit of this. This is right up there with one of my favorites, and I hope you love it too. All right, there it is, my Mustang Stocker in beautiful red, white, and blue. I think it looks fantastic. I'm so happy with the choice I made here. It just exceeded all of my expectations. I hope you love it as much as I did. If you do, please give it a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to crush the notification bell. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I love to chat with you guys. All right, that's going to do it for today. Always remember, obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the prize. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.